What is up, everybody? Rob here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to have a topic of just why I dropped out of college and is college a scam? Of course, this is my opinion. It's completely biased, by the way, as well. So there's that. We'll get that disclaimer out of the way. This is my opinion. Whether it's fact or not, it's just my opinion. I'm going to bring up some statistics that I wrote down over here to help kind of bring a little bit more light to the situation of college debt and all college loans and everything like that. But first, I'd like to talk about a little story in my life. I'd like to tell you why I decided this wasn't my route, because it is a lot of people's route. It will help a lot of people. I'm not going to try to completely bash college. I'm going to say why I didn't stick with college, why I dropped out, and also some stats on how severe the student loan crisis really is. So before I talk about my story, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button and click subscribe down below if you like this content. I know. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. It just helps, and I have less than 100 subscribers. I'm trying to get this channel to grow a little bit. So if you like this content, I'd really appreciate you smashing that like button and clicking subscribe down below. Now that that's out of the way. So my story. I have bad ADD. Now, is that even a real disease? That's up to debate. Some people say it's not. Some people say it is. For myself personally, I'm that kid in class that if I'm not interested in the subject, which I wasn't interested in pretty much all subjects other than math. And if you try to get my attention, I would be staring off at the hillside being like, wow, the view up there is probably really nice. You know, I wonder how long it would take to climb to the top of that mountain over there. Wow, squirrel. What? Bird. What? What were you saying again, mister? You know, that was my life from zero until today. It's still my life. If I like the subject, if I'm passionate about the subject, I will hyper focus on that and I will get intense about it. It gets bad. So you might find that about me with this YouTube channel. If you subscribe, if you click that subscribe, you might see how many videos I post, because recently during this pandemic, I'm like, I got a lot of stuff I want to rant about. I got a lot of stuff on my mind I want to put out there in the universe. Maybe some people will want to watch it. Maybe some people won't. But there was a line that basically I heard, I think it's an Alibaba line from Jack Ma. There's a lot of stuff I agree with him and a lot of stuff I don't agree with him. But he said something along the lines of, you will be compensated by how many people you help. And Gary Vaynerchuk says stuff like that as well, where it's like, when you provide genuine value to people, when you help people, that in tune is how you help. The more you help, the better you are going to be compensated, because you actually helped people. It's not about just being a businessman. It's not about me jamming, products down your throat. It's about, did I provide you genuine value? So that's why I'm doing this channel. And see, that's how you know I have ADD. I completely veered off topic. But anyway, to the main story though. So the first reason is I can't focus. I have a terrible time focusing, and it's very hard to teach a goldfish how to climb a tree. I'm sure everybody's heard that saying. And I have a very certain way of learning, and the college system was not my way because it made me feel stupid. Maybe they're right. Maybe I am stupid, but it made me feel stupid, much more so than I already did. And so every time a teacher would, hey, Rob, what are you looking at? What's going on? Every time I got that, I'd feel more and more hurt about my inability to focus. So that's the first thing with what I was doing in college. It made me feel stupid, and I'm going, okay, am I just going to keep beating myself up, just to impress these people? That was the first trait. Then the second thing that happened is somebody broke into my car and stole my skateboard. Skateboarding has always been my relief. Maybe one of these days I'll share some skateboarding videos on my YouTube channel. But skateboarding was always my way to turn off the world, because you're so scared of falling and breaking your bones that you can't focus on anything else but skateboarding. So it kind of cured my ADD. I was able to actually focus because I was so afraid of being hurt that it forced my brain to like the reptilian part of my brain or whatever that's called or something. It's like it just basically goes like either you die or you focus right now. So figure this out, and that was my cure. So I love skateboarding. And I remember this is why this what happened. And I'm going to relate it to college. When this happened, it really broke my heart because I'd saved up some money and I'd bought a new skateboard, and I was stoked about going skateboarding the next day. I put it in the trunk of my car, and I had a car with the window on the back, and this person broke the back window of my car and stole my skateboard. Now, why is that relevant to college? I went to the Toyota dealership and I asked them, how much is it going to cost to replace this window? And they said it's going to cost $488. And I'm like, okay, so I lost my skateboard and I'm going to lose $488 and I got to pay rent right now to this crappy studio apartment that I rent with my buddy. Okay, so what do I do here? I went back to my house and I went on YouTube and I went, how to fix window for my specific car. Literally 20 separate videos popped up with links to Amazon to buy the window for $40. So I went, okay, buy a window. Boom. Window sent to me. Got the window in like a day or 2 days from Amazon Prime. Literally was 2 screws that YouTube taught me how to take it out and put this window in. I fixed that window for like 40 or 50 bucks. Now, why is that relevant to college? Why was that a reason for me to drop out of college? It was when I realized that we are in the internet age. I saved myself $450 or $400 and some odd dollars, and I was able to buy a new skateboard with that money because I just went and looked at a YouTube video. And I fixed it way quicker than the dealership would have. I think it was like they needed me to like bring it in after a week after they ordered the parts or whatever. And it was like, I just had it sent from Amazon, put it in myself, didn't pay them their labor costs, figured it all out. And then I think to myself, it's like, man, I could just start a window fixing business. They're charging $488. I could charge $400, price cut them, and only can get these parts for 50 bucks. I can make $350 every window. You know how hard people work for $350 a day? That's a perfect business idea. Maybe somebody will listen to that on this. Maybe that'll help somebody. But that was like a eureka moment for me where I'm like, okay, this phone in my pocket is a supercomputer that I can do anything with. I don't want to put myself $200,000 in debt, $100,000 in debt, or whatever amount that it would be. I don't want to put myself $20,000 in debt. I want a nice place with high-speed internet. That's what I want. If I just have 4 walls with high-speed internet, that is the best investment I could make in myself in this day and age. That was the eureka moment for me when I realized, wow, I could learn anything that I want online. You want to learn how to code a website? YouTube. You want to learn how to do anything? YouTube. Literally anything. I've broken screens to my iPhone and learned how to fix the screen on YouTube. Do you know how many fix-it replaces places there are now? Like you could literally do that. I know a kid that I knew from high school that literally souped up a little van and does mobile phone fixing, when the screens break. Sells cases, does all kinds of stuff like that. So it's like there is a million. If you want to be an entrepreneur, this is your time. This is your time. Use that supercomputer in your pocket. And I also am making this video as a plead to parents. Stop pushing your kids to go to college. Stop trying to impress the Joneses next door. Your kid playing Fortnite in his room could make millions of dollars. Support your kid. Whatever it is that he wants, whatever that kid is striving to do, just support him. And to the kids that are listening to this, to the people that are 18, 19 years old that don't know what to do with their life, take a year off and just sit there and focus on the internet. Just sit there and focus on what you want to do. We're pushed so hard into a direction to make drastic life decisions at an age when your brain's not even fully mature yet. I didn't know what I had no idea that I would be in the business that I am now when I was 18. Not a clue. I was a waiter for the right table who happened to be a bunch of rare coin dealers, and I learned my business from being a waiter. That's a whole nother story from another situation. But the serendipities of life is crazy. And college is such a drastic decision. And when I go over to the statistics here on just how much pressure is going to be placed on you if you accept these loans, if you put yourself in that position, the pressure that gets put on your fragile brain at just such a young age when you didn't need to go through that. You didn't need to put yourself in that kind of a situation. Again, this is my extreme bias because I come from a hurt place because I wasn't able to focus well in college. It was something that made me just bummed. It hurt. So it's a little bit of a vulnerable video right now because that was a struggle of mine, not being able to focus and feeling like I wasn't as intelligent as everybody else in the class. There is no measurement to intelligence on pieces of paper. You can't measure intelligence by jamming information in your head that you might not be interested in. You might be able to gauge an IQ to some sort of way, but there are people that are just dramatically gifted that don't need to impress anybody by saying, I got a 99% I got an A++. You know, I'm a honors, you know, but whatever the system is now. I forget I think honors was high school and whatever, but there's many goldfish trying to climb a tree. There's many birds trying to swim. That's what I noticed in college personally. That's my bias. But I dropped out. I went and was a waiter, and then I found out how to be an entrepreneur. I taught myself everything that I know. I taught myself how to do marketing. I taught myself how to do everything. And the point that I'm making is pre-2007, we didn't have an iPhone then. This is just, let's go back 30 years. We're in 2020 now. Let's go back to 1990. The internet was just being born. Everything that we take for granted now, the fact that I have a MacBook Pro connected to my camera over here, streaming a video to my laptop connected to a microphone, like all this stuff is crazy. It's crazy the day and age that we're living in. How old is college? College has gone back hundreds of years. Before even modern civilizations, they had things like that were similar to colleges. But let's just talk about specifically like pre-2000. College was a great plan and a great reason, and all of our parents, the baby boomer generation, they saw their friends standing out because it's like, oh no, Jimmy, he went to college and look at him. He's got a great job. He's doing this, and that. Wow, you know, I want my kid to go to college. So they come from a good place. Parents come from a good place pressuring their kids to go to college. A lot of them don't come from a good place. They just want to like impress their friends and, hey, you know that my son's going to here. Where's your son going? My son's going to here. Where's your son going? You know, you get that thing going on. But we live in the internet age. Everyone that is in their 20s right now, all the kids right now from 10 to 20, everyone from 30 and under, it doesn't even matter actually, everyone 50 and under, we're all living, everyone period. I don't even want to put an age class on it. Specifically, I'm a pretty tech savvy dude, but there are 16-year-olds that will lap me at coding. Just lap me, make me look like an idiot. And it's like, wow, okay. Where did you learn this stuff? It's just like they're like programmed different, you know? So who are the older generations to tell the younger generations what to do? The younger generations, with these supercomputers in our pockets, we ought to take a little bit more power in our hands and go, you know what? I don't want to go to college because I have an idea. I have an idea and I want to fail before I take plan B. I wish we had a generation of more people thinking about plan A. You know? Whatever happened to plan A? I hate that line. I hate that line of people going, well, if it all doesn't work out, at least I got my college degree. I got that as a fallback. I don't want to have a padded fall. When I fail, I want to fail bad. I want to fail really bad so I learn that lesson. I don't want a padded fall. You know, I don't want to go, oh, well, I got plan B. You know, it's like, no, I want plan A to work. And if plan A doesn't work, I want to fail and try plan A again. And if it doesn't work, I want to fail and try it again. So don't fall for that line. Don't fall for that line of saying, you know, at least you have that degree. At least you have that degree. You can fall back on that. And again, this is from an extreme bias place. I don't mean to hurt people because there are doctors needed in the world. There's lawyers needed in the world. And that's why I think it's kind of criminal to put the people that we need in the world that worked so hard for 8 years. You got to remember, they have to go for longer, doctors. They work so hard for 8 years. And what do? The people we need in society, we give them hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. It's crazy. So let me get to these statistics here. I ranted a little bit longer than I wanted to about that because it's kind of a touchy subject for me because it made me feel like I wasn't good enough, college. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And then now looking back on it, I'm thankful that I went because I know what it's like. But I wish I never did at all, actually. So it's like there's a weird mixture of the pair. But this is why I think that these are some warning stats that I want you to know before you decide to take that easy loan at 18 years old. You're being a bit entrapped. It's not fair. One of the few, if not the only loans that you can't bankrupt out of is a student debt loan. So you're 18 years old, you're trying to figure out your life, and they go, you know, you want to go party with your friends? You want to get out of your house and not have to live at home with your parents anymore? I will give you a big loan. You can pay for your dorm. Well, you can pay to get out of your situation that you're in right now, and I have the escape route for you. All your friends are there. Here's a loan for you, any amount you really want. You know, it's crazy that they're giving out these loans like candy, but here's the reason they give out those loans. Because if I ask for that loan, I could show them a business with millions of dollars in revenue, and it would be extremely hard for me to get the same loans that they're giving to 18-year-old kids without even an established credit. And here's the reason for that. You can't bankrupt out of it. If you have a business and you take on a loan, you can go bankrupt. You can fail. An LLC and a corporation is like the ultimate entity where you can fail. You can build something and you can fail miserably and bankrupt out of it, and it won't affect your life. You won't have you won't have a ball and chain around your ankle. But what's so unfair about college loans is that you're taking on all of this money without knowing you're going to succeed at getting a high-paying job. And if you do get a high-paying job, you now have a huge loan to pay off that keeps you from moving forward in the world. I see it so much. I see friends of mine that literally have $150,000 of debt that is going to start accruing interest. You got to remember, if you can't bankrupt out of this, they're going to garnish your wages. They will freeze your bank accounts. They have ultimate power over you when you take these loans and you can't pay them back. It's a pretty tough situation. So just to let you wrap your mind around how much debt, student loan debt there is in the world, this is a crisis. This is a very serious crisis. So there's a pandemic, which is obviously the most serious crisis of lives being at risk, but a serious crisis of what's going on. I mean, this is damaging people mentally. I mean, this is I could only imagine having this kind of debt. But the student loan debt in 2020 is now $1.6 trillion with a capital T. There are 45 million borrowers in 2020 collectively owing nearly $1.6 trillion. These are debts that you can't escape out of. And then this gets into another subject of just, now there's some student loan forgiveness programs. And that's what the painful part there is, these bankers are making all of the money. They're ripping off the citizens, because if you get forgiven for your loans that you took from these greedy bankers that took advantage of you in the first place, well, then the greedy bankers that got the loans forgiven are now going to go to the government is now going to go to the taxpayers to pay the bill to forgive the loans of the children. So there is nothing free in this world. Just know that there's nothing free. If you get a loan like that, even if you get forgiven for that loan, which majority of people won't be, that money is then going to be taken out of somebody else's pocket. And it's not going to get taken out of the greedy banker's pocket. That pocket's been lined over and over and over again. It's going to take money out of the taxpayer's pocket. It's a really weird, sad situation when you take advantage of kids that are not fully mature yet and they don't know what path they want to take. The college system has become a business, and a very profitable one at that. The price of college tuitions has just gone up year after year after year after year. It's, if you really look it up, I might screenshot a little chart right now to show it, but it's unfair. People that want to be taught and want to learn information should not be taken advantage of. They should be held to the highest, they should be the most important thing of society, is educating people. That should be the most important thing. But to take advantage of those people, especially when they're young, and entrap them, it gets me almost a little bit emotional. It gets me almost a little bit emotional because I know people that probably won't ever get out of debt. They're going to live in debt for the majority of their life. And they can't jump off the cliff and take the risks that an entrepreneur could take because they're stuck with that debt accruing and accruing and accruing, and that wave chasing after them month after month. Some get out of it by becoming an entrepreneur. Some get out of it by getting that high-paying job. But statistically speaking, to get the high-paying job out of college, it's rough, because you got to remember, you're up against, there's 45 million borrowers, right? So the competition to get those high-paying jobs is very, very high. It's extremely high. So all of this, knowing all of this information, there is still a place for college. What would be my recommendation? Of course, what do I know? I'm just a dude being an entrepreneur. Like, I'm just trying to, I have so much more things to do and how to grow. So this is just my opinion, and this is just my rant. If you think I'm just a complete idiot, comment it. Say it down below, tell me where I'm wrong, because I will respond whether you like me or you don't like me. I will respond to every single comment down there. Every single one, I promise you that. If you go to any of my past videos, I've responded to every single comment. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm not seeing. If you think I'm right, you make a comment and elaborate on a point that I missed out on. But please make a comment and tell me what you think of this situation, because I don't like the idea of giving out huge loans to 18-year-old kids that don't know exactly what they want to do with their life and don't understand exactly what they're getting into. I don't think it's right to not be able to bankrupt out of these loans. I don't think that's right. Because what that basically means is that if someone gives me a credit card and I don't pay them back and I bankrupt, they lost. They lose that money. They hand it off to a debt collector. That debt collector tries to get the money, and that's how that whole system works. But with the college, so nothing should be given out for free. So they took a risk on me, for example. If they take a risk on me and they give me a credit card, I default. I don't pay them. They took a risk to make money, to make interest, and the risk didn't pay off. They lost. That's the risk reward. If you're a banker, you took a risk on somebody you shouldn't have taken a risk on, and you lost. In this situation, the banker can't lose. Once they give that loan out, they know you can't default on. You can't go bankrupt. You can't get out of it. To me, that's wrong. I think that's wrong. And I think there should be more education out there telling people just how wrong it really is. So I'm over here talking for almost 30 minutes about this subject. I'm probably bouncing off all kinds of different subjects, but these are just the main things that I wanted to get out into the world. And maybe it helps somebody. Maybe you're that 18-year-old kid going, you know what? College isn't for me, and I want to take a risk. I want to take a risk, and I want to fail. I want to go, and maybe I fly, maybe I fail, but I want to take that risk. And if it doesn't work out, at least I learned something, and I might have a better sense of where I want to go in my life. And then maybe approach college, you know? And again, I don't mean to bash on the people that need to go to college. If anything, I sympathize. I think that your tuition should be much less expensive. Rather than the tax money bailing out the student loan should be cheaper in the first place. The beginning of it should be less expensive. You shouldn't have to get bailed out because you got taken advantage of. The beginning should be less expensive. These colleges shouldn't be able to profit the way that they're profiting. There's so much crazy funneling of money going on. That's what I wish we could fix. There's two things that are the most important. It's health and our education. We don't need to be funding all the things that the money gets funneled away from and gets pushed in different areas of our economy. It's like, why are the taxpayers not focusing on educating the citizens and making sure they're healthy? That's what matters the most. If we want to be a society that has handouts left and right and constantly is taking in tax money and people wanting to take free stuff, why not focus on the two things that really matter? Why not hold these colleges accountable and go, you know what? $50,000 for a semester is criminal. You can't do that anymore. Why don't we do that? That's something that's on my mind. When I look at these numbers and when I see $1.6 trillion in debt, it hurts my heart knowing the people that are going to be stuck with that debt and not be able to bankrupt out of it, not be able to get rid of that debt until it's paid back. And then when the interest starts kicking in, it's just a horrible thing. That's the thing. Like, you think in your mind, oh, I'm taking on $100,000 in debt. I can make $100,000 in my life. If I can make $100,000 a year at a job, that's great. You're not taking into account what your rent's going to cost. You're not taking into account what your internet's going to cost, your car bill, all these different things. So you might take in $4,000 a month at your new job, but you only keep in the bank 500 of that. It's not about what you make. It's about what you keep. So many people get focused on, oh, I'm going to make $100,000 a year. If you're the lucky few that makes $100,000 a year out of college, you get taxed on your W-2. So you're really only taking in like 65, 70. And then you got to live in some high expensive area. If you get a job in LA, you get a job in Seattle, you get a job where these tech booms are in Silicon Valley, your rent's going to be expensive. So yeah, you might take in, say you take in $8,000 a month, after taxes, then you're sitting there with 5, 6. After paying your rent, you're sitting there with 4. After paying your food and paying your living expenses, you're sitting there with 3. It just keeps going down and down with the cost. And so then on top of it, after you're out of college, the interest starts kicking in. That's something a lot people aren't taking into account. When that interest rate starts kicking in, it's like that original $100,000 loan is now day by day getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that wave is just growing and growing and growing. And it's just coming after you. These are things that I just want people to know before making these decisions. Now, maybe it's a better idea to look at your college situation and go, you know what? I don't really want to go to $100,000 a year college. I don't care how great the parties look. I don't care how great the education looks or the campus looks. I know that debt's going to really hurt me. I would rather invest in myself and go to a less expensive college. Maybe I should go to a college that only costs me 10 grand a year. Maybe I should go to a college that on my maximum student loan, I'm only going to get $20,000 in student loan debt because that's a realistic number that I can get out of that situation. I don't want to see the youth of the generations to come being taken advantage of when we're living in the most amazing day and age to do anything that you want. The internet is at your disposal. You're watching me on something that wasn't available 20 years ago. Just 20 years ago, YouTube came around in 2007. Just 20 years ago, this wasn't even here. This opportunity to speak with you. Think of all the opportunities that have arisen, all the YouTube millionaires that have arisen, all of that. This is things that wasn't around when college was the perfect thing to do. These textbooks that you're reading, if you're reading a textbook that is 2 years old, it's already too late. 2 years ago, there wasn't a pandemic. 2 years ago is too late to be reading that book because the information is changing every single day. The most relevant information that you can get to our current day and age, our current economy, is on the internet. That's where you're going to get the best information. Not by reading a textbook, not by being forced to pay for a textbook from 1990, forced to pay $300 some odd for a textbook that you didn't really want to learn from. It's like there's so many different things that my bias, again, my extreme bias, looks at, and I just go, I want to warn people. I hope I can inspire somebody by this video because I wish that I saw this video when I was 18 years old. I really wish I did. I wish I could go talk to the 18-year-old version of me and go, hey man, don't stress yourself out so much because you can't focus in class. Don't let them hurt your feelings. You know? You can do anything that you want. Don't let them hurt you because that doesn't matter as much as you caring about your own mind and knowing that you have the ability to do anything that you want. That's something that I wish I could have told my old self. But mistakes happen for a reason, you know? For me, college wasn't for me. It wasn't something that I was able to finish. And quite frankly, because I didn't finish it, my life went in a completely different direction. I don't know where I would be if I finished college right now. I have no idea because I would have went to a 4-year college and I would have taken on a loan. But some crazy things had happened in my life at that time, that's just some personal stuff. But that pushed me over the edge to not go to college. And seeing these debt numbers, seeing that you can't go bankrupt out on these loans, I mean, that alone to me is just so wrong. You can get out of any loan, you can bankrupt out of any loan, but for some reason with these college loans, you can't get out of it. You can't get out of a college loan. You can't bankrupt on that. Why is that? You can fail so hard starting a business, but you can't fail your college loans. You can't fail on that. You know, so when you're getting into college, just know you're getting in a situation that you can't fail. You have to succeed. You have to get that job. You have to make money because if you do fail, you will have a tidal wave coming after you of debt that's accruing year after year after year when the interest rate kicks in. Anyway, that is a nearly 35-minute video of me ranting. So this is the episode 1 of Rob Rants. If you managed to stick through that entire video, you better click that subscribe button because you obviously either hate my guts or you like what I have to say. And if you make a comment down below, I will respond to it. And I love being criticized. I'm more wrong than I'm right. I'm wrong way more than I'm right in this life. So now that I accept that, I've had to take a lot of failures to accept that. I love to hear the criticism, but that's some information on college. That's my personal story on college. And maybe that helps somebody, maybe it doesn't, but I just wanted to put that out in the universe. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm signing out. I hope you have a great day.